It is a brisk start to the morning, but a great one. We're planting outdoors, believe it or not. Did you get your peas in on St. Patrick's Day? I did. I know a lot of you did from reading your messages, but you know, there's plenty of time to plant peas, and that's what we're gonna do today. I can't tell you how good it feels to get started. In most gardens, you're not gonna be able to turn the soil over yet. Broken record, you know, if it sticks to the shovel, it's too wet. This compost would be okay, but I always add a little bit of compost when I'm planting, and last week you saw we soaked our seeds. I planted those already. These were soaked last night, just overnight to get them to sprout earlier. It's a cool variety from John Sheepers called Opal Creek Yellow Snap, and this compost was about $5. I'll just put a thin layer on top. We'll plant our peas, and then we got another trick to get them to sprout. And you know me, I'm just going to kind of scatter these out. There's no rows, just kind of a carpet of peas. We can thin as needed, but they'll grow up and actually support each other, just like any other family. And one trick to warm up the soil quick is just to put this old skylight on top. You don't have to do this, but this will ensure germination. I'm going to put one more down here. Peas love cool weather, but you don't have to get started this early. You got a window of at least a couple weeks. Now, meet me in the greenhouse starting our tomatoes, and that's a little early too. It's already 10 degrees warmer in the greenhouse, and as that sun comes up, it'll get up to about 80 in here, which is one of the reasons to have a greenhouse in the spring. And normally I start my main crop of tomatoes about April 1st, but I just sometimes get the itch. We'll start a little earlier, it's okay. You know, you don't need a greenhouse to do this, but you do need some light. Sometimes you can get away with a big south-facing window, but usually it's better to have something like fluorescent lights, or you can go to a garden center and get some really nice bright LED lights. That will make your plants grow strong and stocky. I hear it all the time. People get their tomato seeds to sprout on the windowsill, and then they get kind of tall and spindly. We call that leggy, and that's because there isn't enough light. It has nothing to do with the green thumb. So all we're going to do is we've got a good planting mix in here, and we've already moistened it, and that's important. You don't put dry mix in and then seeds and water. You get this to right where you want it, which is moist but not dripping. And then we're just going to put some tomato seeds on here, and I got all sorts of cool varieties, lots of black tomatoes. This is one called Black Vernesage, I guess that's how you say it. And all we do is just set the seed on top here and then cover it up with a little bit more mix. And only one seed per container. You always think like, gosh, if I put 2 in, you know, if you put 2 in, you're just going to be thinning it out. And after I put these seeds in, the next step is always to label them, because all tomatoes look the same when they come up, and I've made that mistake before, to have an entire flat of tomatoes and not know what's what. It's kind of fun, but I want to know what's what. So most of these plants actually get given away to friends. Okay. And we'll just continue down here with all sorts of different tomatoes, and I even got a little basil I'm going to throw in too, and then I'll show you how I get them to sprout too. Like, and how do you spell that? One of the things that I wanted to make sure this year is I do a better job on my tomatoes, and I think starting one flat early, then one a little later, and then one even a little later after that will make me more successful with my tomatoes. And remember last year where we put all that manure on that bed? That can't hurt. Check out this one, Atomic Grape from Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. I cannot wait to see this one in the garden. Then all we need to do is put the flat in this plastic bag. That keeps the soil evenly moist until they sprout. As soon as they sprout, we get this bag off. And then the other trick that I use to get them to sprout is this thing here. It's called a seedling heat mat. Now, do not use a heating pad that's for your bag. Use one specifically made for sprouting seeds, as it's all sealed and will not electrocute you and burn the house down. And again, when they sprout, we take them off the heat mat, and there's just something special about starting from seed, starting varieties that no one else is going to grow, and of course, bragging about it out in the garden, saying, I started from seed. All right, I'm going to put these on my heat mat, and like I said, we'll have a couple more flats over the next couple weeks to plant. Let's finish up. Well, these daffodils have been through the gauntlet, some awful cold temperatures, which has them looking down, but they're going to make it. Every year they do, and they are the harbinger of spring. Yes, we're going to have more cold weather, but there's no stopping us now. Now be sure to check me out online. That's where you can become a member of my Seed of the Month Club. We're having a lot of fun there. It's also where you can see more videos and garden stories. Until next week, boy, I got lots to do in the garden, lots of things to clean up. Right, Max? We'll see you then.